So for you guys that are new to the channel, this is a 71 El Camino 4-wheel disc brake LS1 T56 that we've been working on. We're trying to, next step is getting it wired up. So Holley Terminator X. So one of the things they don't tell you is that to run the Terminator you need intake air temperature sensor. So you're gonna have to buy this separately. I chose the Holley one. It was like 30 bucks. And then if you took your LS1 out of a Camaro, this is your oil pressure sensor. So see how it's only a 1-wire sensor? The Holley needs a 3-wire sensor, which I can't see, is the Corvette sensor. So that was that, and that is the last thing, the only 2 other things that I had to buy. Of course, you have to get a relay for your fuel pump, relays for your fans, and you have to get the fan plugs as well to wire it in for to have the Holley kick it down. So what I'm working on right now is getting the Terminator through here, through this little bracket that I made up. So here's that bracket, or plate, whatever you want to call it. This guy goes boop right there. Then I got, this is a heat shrink grommet deal. So what this does, obviously you put the wires through and then you heat shrink this to go around the wires. So what I had to do is I had to Dremel the inside of that for the Terminator plugs to fit through without depinning anything. So you'll see. Alright, so today we're working on mounting the ECU. This is a little diagram I drew up. I took the ECU itself, laid this out, drew it. So laid it down, took a Sharpie, boop, 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 all the way around. So I'm going to use, I think this is 20 gauge. I'm going to scribe this onto here to stab up a little bracket. Because what I got going on is this custom kick panel. Still needs to be cleaned up around the edges and stuff, and painted. It's gonna go like this somewhere. Like that. And then the wires are gonna, I built a little plate with a grommet to go through there. Let's see how she does. Alright, so I laid it out, scratched it. So the idea is that I'm going to cut this out and then I'm going to drill straight through the paper through the metal to try and line those holes up. We'll see how it goes. Alright, so this is where I'm at now. I got the rib nuts set. These are just Allen head M6 bolts. They look pretty nice. And the bag. We got them from Monster Bolts. M6 20 mil. And then of course M6 rib nuts. So let's see if we got good space for this. Alright. That takes up a lot of room. It's not too bad. Alright, this is where I'm at now. I got the plugs through the wall. This grommet's really neat. I really suggest using this heat shrink one. Like I said, I had to sand this down, Dremel this out just to even get these plugs to fit through there, but they barely fit. And like I said, that's heat shrink, so it'll shrink back down. But I'll make sure everything's running and everything's good before I do that, so that if I have to, I could still pull these out. So this is gonna go something like this. Because you want these lights to be visible, because these are like your indicator, like if troubleshooting lights. So you know, something like that. It's straight shot for the wires. Check her out, boys. Let me clean these welds up a bit, but she looks good. Alright. Clean these welds up, paint her up, put her back. Alright, got the new battery in. Move this old shitty wire out the way. So if anyone's wondering, it's a Group 34 750 cold cranking amps. Fits in there perfect, actually. I think this might be the stock size battery. I don't know, but we had this from mock-up. This was the Camino battery. Piece of shit. Oh yeah. Got this thing down on all fours. Looking good. These are the Federal S595s. Super steel. Looking damn good. Got the fuel tank in. Alright, quick update on this. I'm gonna strip it out, paint it. Where does it go? I had silver trim, please. Go something like that. Boom, boom. So these welds up here, I'm not too worried about these because the level of the dash, I think we're gonna probably, because we're gonna do a custom sheet metal dash. Got tons of sheet metal back there. So got the Holley 12-inch dash. It's gonna go in here somewhere. Sweet ass little short shifter. Tick Performance F-Body LS1 Camaro short shifter. Sparco Champion steering wheel with the NRG quick release. So strip this out and get it painted and put it back in. I have to seam seal around this guy before I could officially put this back in, but Oh yeah, these line up perfect. Just like that. Let's get her done. Let me show you guys what I got going on here. So I'm hooking up the alternator and the starter wire. So for the most part I'm done. I just have to terminate this with the alternator wire coming up. Let's go. So the lugs on the back, which is a 3/8 lug, but I used 0 gauge wire, so 0 gauge to 3/8. And then there's these little bolt holes on the oil pan that I just used for these clamps right here. And then of course it's gonna go straight hook up to I got a breaker over there, but look, it's clear of the steering rack by just a hair. So both. So for the starter, same thing, it's a 3/8 lug, 0 gauge thing, but I had to put a 90 on it. I clamped it in the vise and just smacked it with a rubber mallet, but you got to make sure you don't put too much angle on there, you can't get the nut on. So yeah, it's heat shrink, and then that is a flame, like a flame fire resistant case, wrap around that joint. And then you'll see I use the AC, one of the AC bolts to clamp it. Yeah, okay. And there's one of these Johnnies. It's like a hose clamp deal, but fits perfect around that 0 gauge. There's enough clearance right there where it's not rubbing on that. And then these are the cool part. So this goes, I think, 4 to 0 gauge on these insides. And this is just some clamps off of Amazon. So that's a 200 amp breaker. So I got the lead from the battery, this guy right here, going straight to the breaker, and then the alternator wire is going to get terminated on that guy. So for that I had to buy 0 gauge to 1/4 inch for these guys, and then this little tool is perfect for this, because you lift this up, put the Johnny in there, and just smack it. So before I go and smack this and make it permanent, I'm going to try and line up to see what kind of rotation I need on this. Alright, so when this is in here, the thing is that this isn't like, it's super tight in there, so I have to like hold it like this to pinch that gap and then give it a good smack. And so I don't have my heat gun with me, but this will work. Alright, so I got the battery out the way to show you guys this a little bit better. This is that little breaker. I just got it mounted with that little Allen screw. And then this comes out right there. So basically, if anything goes back on the system or whatever, over 200 amps, it'll pop the breaker, and then I can just kind of flip it back. So the alternator goes here, and this is power from the battery direct, and then power out to the alternator. So what I'm also going to do is another lug from here to the fuse box for the fans, the fuel pump, and the ignition is going to go on this same lug, so the whole system has a breaker. Alright, so back to this kick panel. See, got it hanging up over there for right now, just baking in the sun, but this is what the idea is behind this. So this is some sort of fire block insulator shit that I got from Lowe's, just to help with sound deadening or whatnot, and plus to help keep air from coming in through here. And what the idea is, check this out. So this is shower pan liner from Lowe's. Also, you pay by the foot. So I'm going to cut this to go around here to seal this off. I got this stuff as seen on TV. Let's see what this does. But yeah, get that around there. Probably gonna have to cut it out around that one and that one. And then self-tapper it on. Alright, so here's that kick panel all painted up. I kind of scuffed it with the, I think it's like a 30 grit, 60 grit, just to give it some texture. And then I painted over all the fire block and painted over the shower mat. Looks kind of janky, but I mean, you won't even see it. So let's get it in. Still gotta add the final touch. I almost forgot to add these little isolator cups, these little grommets to go back behind this. So I don't even know if that'll do anything, but hopefully it helps with vibration, since, I mean, I don't think that's good for the ECU, but I had this on here just to keep dirt from getting inside these plugs. So this is the main power harness for the Holley, and the idea is to try and get that to fit through there too. I think it plugs into this.